Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, stood in front of an astonishing 1.4 billion viewers. It was an unprecedented moment, almost as if the whole world had gathered in their living rooms to watch one man sing. This was no ordinary TV event. It was Elvis, Aloha from Hawaii, the first ever live satellite TV music concert. To put it simply, it was like magic, but with TV signals instead of wands. Right there in that instant, Elvis became not just a star but a global phenomenon, accessible to more people than ever before. It's hard to fathom just how huge this was. Think about this: before this, if you wanted to see a star perform, you'd go to a concert or watch a recording. But now, with this satellite magic, Elvis was in everyone's home, from Tokyo to London, New York to Sydney. The idea came from RCA, the company behind Elvis's music, not the Colonel, who was Elvis's manager. They wanted to show the world what a live performance could be on such a massive scale. Elvis was both thrilled and petrified by the idea. It was like standing in front of an ocean, feeling the waves crashing down on you. But the thought of being so visible, so celebrated, ignited a fire within him. He loved the challenge, even if his first thought was, how can I possibly do this justice? To prepare, Elvis had a chat with Marty Pazzetta, the man behind some of the biggest TV shows like the Academy Awards. Pazzetta was clear: Elvis needed to slim down. Not just for looks, but to feel confident and strong on stage. Elvis, known for his self-deprecating humor, laughed it off. "Well, this is the first time someone's told me straight to my face," he said, but he took the advice to heart. He started a diet, not just for the show, but to feel good about himself. Alongside losing weight, Elvis knew he needed a fresh image. Bill Ballou, who designed his stage outfits, was tasked with creating something special. Elvis wanted an American eagle motif, symbolizing his pride in being American. The suit had glass jewels and embroidery depicting eagles on the sleeves, trousers, and cape. It was a bold statement, emphasizing his connection to his country and his excitement about this global moment. Elvis wasn't just about the music, he was about the performance, the image, and the connection with his fans. This satellite concert was more than just a show, it was a bridge connecting millions through music. As he prepared, Elvis also tackled personal demons. After Priscilla left, he had been acting strangely, visiting funeral homes late at night, a behavior that worried his team. But with a new girlfriend and the pressure of the concert, he started to turn things around. Losing 20 pounds, he looked and felt better, proving to himself that he could achieve anything if he put his mind to it. This moment marked not just a leap in entertainment technology, but a personal rebirth for Elvis. He was about to show the world that even the king could evolve, and that with determination he could conquer any stage, real or virtual. As he stepped onto that Hawaiian stage, he wasn't just singing for a billion people. He was reclaiming his place as a living legend, ready to dazzle and inspire like never before. Elvis arrived in Honolulu with big expectations. The city and island were buzzing with excitement about his arrival. The tourist industry saw this as a golden chance to make more money. Everyone knew Elvis was used to this kind of attention, and he didn't mind at all. In fact, he embraced it. When Honolulu declared the day of his big show, Elvis Presley Day, he took it in stride. After all, he was no stranger to adoration. The concert in Honolulu was special. It started with a massive rehearsal, open to 6,000 people, a few days before the actual show. This was to make sure everything went smoothly, especially since they were filming it for broadcast later. Elvis was joined by his usual team of musicians, and they played a mix of his old hits and newer songs. He wanted to show he wasn't stuck in the past. Songs like Something by the Beatles, My Way, and a version of Fever showed his willingness to explore different styles. In total, he performed 22 songs, with a few more recorded later for American audiences. Not everyone could catch the live show due to time differences. In Europe, it aired the next day, while the US had to wait a bit longer. But where it was live, it was a huge success. People all over the Far East, especially in Australia, New Zealand, and Japan, tuned in huge numbers. The concert was a celebration of Elvis's global appeal. The big night was January 13th, 1973, and Elvis turned 38. He knew some fans might not like how he mixed up his hits with more ballad-style songs, but he understood what his audience wanted. His usual mix of country, blues, rock, patriotism, and love songs was still there, along with a few new touches. He even threw in How Great Thou Art, though he knew it might not sit well in non-Christian parts of Asia. This show was a huge milestone in Elvis's career. After years of facing challenges, he had reached the top, but he also knew this peak was hard to beat. For the show, he brought his family and close friends. He planned a celebratory picnic with them after the concert. However, things took a turn for the worse. Before the concert, Elvis took a vitamin shot laced with amphetamines. After the show, exhausted, he took more of these drugs, along with other medications he had been reducing his use of. The next day, when Priscilla came to pick him up for a planned picnic, she found him in a terrible state. He was on the hotel balcony, dazed, sweating, and barely able to speak. The picnic was canceled. Recovering from the concert's stress and energy, Elvis was back on stage just 2 weeks later in Las Vegas. It was a tough period. He missed a few shows and had to leave the stage one night due to losing his voice. Doctors gave him various shots to help, both real and supposed remedies. His bodyguard Red West and others advised him to stop using stimulants, saying his problems were mental, not physical, but Elvis was skeptical. Without the pills, he wasn't sure he could keep performing. Things took a darker turn when 4 young men interrupted his show in Las Vegas. Elvis, worried and on drugs, stepped in to protect himself and was joined by Red and some security. After pushing the intruders back, Elvis was furious, lashing out with anger. This was the first time his public persona of calmness cracked, revealing a more violent side. This incident, combined with his ongoing struggles with drugs and his growing obsession with Mike Stone, Priscilla's lover, weighed heavily on Elvis. In a moment of desperation, he considered getting someone to kill Mike, even handing an M16 rifle to his bodyguard Sonny West, who refused. Elvis then turned to Red, urging him to find someone who can wipe the son of a bitch out. The situation was dire, and Elvis's mental state was clearly deteriorating. Elvis's troubles went deeper than just his drug use. His life was becoming increasingly controlled by those around him, particularly his manager, Parker, and his father, Vernon. This situation was not unique to Elvis. Many artists struggle with managers who take too much control, but Elvis's case was extreme. Parker was like a dad to Elvis, but with a lot of power. He made sure Elvis had lots of money, which sounds great, but the way it was handled was complicated. When RCA, a big music company, offered Elvis a deal to sell his future music royalties for a big sum of money, Elvis agreed without thinking much about it. This decision was a big mistake. Imagine you have a piggy bank where you save coins every day. Now think of those coins as the future money from Elvis's songs. RCA offered to buy all those coins up front for a lot of money, but Elvis wouldn't really get to use most of that money. Instead, Parker and RCA would take a big piece of it. For someone his age with a promising career, giving up most of his future earnings was not smart. Elvis's father, Vernon, and Parker were both influenced by the money and didn't fully understand or explain the contract details well. They likely felt embarrassed to question Parker, fearing it might seem disrespectful or ungrateful. This silence let Parker take advantage of the situation. Elvis signed a contract that let RCA take most of the money from selling recordings of his old songs. It was like selling his future earnings to pay for his past success. This deal was bad for Elvis because, at 38, he was still earning a lot but had already paid millions in taxes. The money Parker kept and the money RCA took were more than what Elvis actually received. It was a bad trade. This situation raises questions about how well Elvis read the contracts he signed. It's likely neither he nor his father fully understood the terms, especially the impact on his future earnings. They may have felt too proud or embarrassed to ask questions, thinking asking would show they didn't appreciate the offers. In the end, Elvis's trust in Parker was misplaced. Parker, while well-intentioned, was not always in Elvis's best interest. This realization came too late for Elvis. The situation reflects a broader issue for artists balancing trust in their managers with understanding the financial implications of their deals. It's a lesson for anyone in a similar position. Always question and understand the terms of any big deal, no matter how appealing it seems.